What's up, guys? I just picked up this 1972 Honda CB175. That's right, 175 whopping cc's. As Eric O from South Main Auto likes to say, this has got the big 175 in it. Now, I've never purchased such a small Honda before. I've had the 1800 V-Twin, I've had the CB650, I have the Dream 305, I have the CX 500, but never something this small. And honestly, I stay away from these small CBs just because they were treated like toys. This is a lot of people's first bike back in the day. A lot of people learned how to ride on these, and because of that, they were used, abused, and left in a field. But what drew me to this one is that it's all there. Let me show you a couple of the good, a couple of the bad, and then we'll go from there. One thing that's great about bikes like these is that they were the first bike for so many guys. I talk to so many older guys that remember these types of bikes is what they learned how to ride on, right? They have these vivid memories of taking them in their backyards or their older cousin or uncle, like letting them ride it, you know? If you have a story like that, let me know. Put it down in the comments if you had a first bike like this, or heck, maybe you had a little 175 and drove it across 3 states, right? I hear those types of stories too. Either way, share your story down below because I love reading guys who are a little bit older, more experienced, and a lot more wise than me share their stories. So let's start with the good first. The headlight is here and the guy said it functions. I haven't tested it yet, but he said it functions. The front turn signals are there. The rear turn signals are there. The whole rear fender and the tail light. A lot of people ripped all that off decades ago. It's all there. The seat is originally wrapped here. It's in pretty decent shape, just a couple little pulls, but it doesn't have giant scrapes and gouges down the middle. The paint is clearly original, but as you can see, there's no giant rust spots. There's no giant dents in it. Sure, there's a couple little dings here and there, but it's grimy, as you can see, but that's it. Now, when you open up the inside, this is one of the bads. You can see that it is kind of rusty in there. Now, when I scrape it, not much comes up, so that's good. So we can clean this tank and it won't be a problem, although there is some surface rust in there. It's going to be really hard to find tanks like this without any surface rust, so that doesn't worry me too much. Another good is just how original all the stuff is, especially the controls. These are the original grips, it looks like. All the original switches. Heck, these are the original mirrors. You can see the HM logo right there. The gauges, the guy says work. I don't know if that's true or not, but the gauges are there. The front fender is here. This is another good. Sure, it's dented and twisted, but the fact that it's there and you can see it can be cleaned up, right? That'll end up shining by the end of it. You just wait and see. Here we have an inspection sticker for 1989 and 90. So this thing hasn't been on the road, or at least inspected, in quite a while. The biggest tell for me, and honestly one of the things that was like, okay, you have to buy it, is this. It still has the horn attached. Now, I don't know if the horn works or not, and honestly, I don't care, but the fact that it's still there tells me something. It tells me that for a long time, somebody just kept this bike sitting in its true state without molesting it like crazy. The fact that the horn is still there means a lot. Sure, the tires are rotted out. Sure, it's going to need a lot of sort of surface rust repair and painting to get it in decent shape before trying to sell this thing. But the fact that these stickers are still on it. I mean, check this sticker out on the tank, right? It says, remember, preserve nature, always wear helmet, think safety. The fact that somebody didn't rip that off 40 years ago means the world to me. Sure, these cables are roasted, right? I'm going to need all new cables. But these levers are original. They're not snapped off from somebody taking this thing into a field. And that is all good news. So what's missing from the bike? Well, this side cover. You can see in this box of extra parts that we have a not color matching side cover for the right side, but it doesn't matter. We'll end up painting this and getting new logos on it, but there's no cover for this left side there. And I already checked kind of preliminarily, and the covers are expensive, right? To get one of these off eBay, you're looking at near $100 just for one cover. So that's a bit disappointing that we're missing one cover, but hey, we're not missing both covers, so that's nice. Now, I guess the guy that I bought it from did buy a few things for it. So one of the things he bought for it is a new battery. Another thing that he bought for it are tires and tubes. So it came with tires and tubes and a battery. And for the price that I got this bike for, $300, that pretty much is just the tires, tubes, and the battery alone, right? So I got a pretty good deal on this thing. I checked the starter button. That's right, this thing has an electric starter, and it didn't do anything, but I did notice one bad, and let me show you what that bad is right now. Let's jump the starter solenoid real quick and take a listen. Okay, so we're not going to do that again. As you can hear, there's pretty much no engagement in that starter and the flywheel. There's some grinding noises. So the starter spins. That's good news. But we're going to have to pop this cover off, see what it is about the starter clutch or the gears in there that's sort of grinding around. Maybe it's just the starter clutch. Maybe the gears are shredded. I'm not sure, but either way, we're going to have to pop the cover off and check that out. Guys, you want to know what excites me most about this, and those of you that are into these old bikes know exactly what I mean. Check this out. Do you know what this is? This little container right here. Let me pop it open. This is a 1972 motorcycle. Look at that. If the hair didn't stand up on the back of your neck right now, then let me show you what this is, because you don't know what you don't know. Now, I haven't actually taken this out yet. What this is, oh man, you can smell how musty it is, right? Just smell it. That's musty. Look at this. See that? I don't know if you can make that out on the cap right there. It says HM. This is the original toolkit for this motorcycle. All of the original Honda tools that came with this motorcycle are still here. And this is absolutely amazing. The fact that this toolkit is still there. I'll tell you what, sure, it's nice that somebody left the turn signals, the original mirrors, but the fact that this toolkit is still here means to me that this bike was well taken care of, that somebody wanted to preserve it, and that it won't take much to get her going. The last thing I'm going to show you is how original all of this wiring in here. There is nothing that's been chopped or bopped. There's no cheap black 3M electrical tape in here. I mean, look, this is the original inline fuse that goes in that little clip right there. And this is all the original wiring. Man, this is awesome how original and preserved this bike is. Guys, I know what you're thinking, because you're like me. You're thinking, James, just try to start the thing up already, right? I can't wait. Just try to start it up. Listen, I did some preliminary testing. Like I said, it doesn't have spark. The fuel tank is rusty. Sure, it's not like flaking off, but it would not be ideal to try to force this thing to start now just by dumping it in. I know a lot of guys do that, right? Before they start tearing things apart, they just try to get it running just by dumping gas in the carbs or whatnot. That's not really how I roll. So stick with me as we get our 1972 Honda CB175 back on the road again. This is an awesome, awesome bike, and I cannot wait to start digging into it with you guys along for the ride. Thanks for watching.